Can you believe it's still March?
Hi, I'm Milan.
Hey, I'm Matthew. We were both given the opportunity to ask for a once-in-a-lifetime experience from a certain organization that rhymes with shake a fish. So for our wish, we asked to start our very own podcast. I'm just kidding. I went to Boston, New York to watch baseball.
I went to Paris and you're at Disney, but now we have a podcast too.
Welcome to the Wish Kids.
It's been about a year since the world shut down because of COVID. And I think it's time to review it.
Yeah, it's been quite a crazy year. And crazy is an understatement for sure.
Yes, it has been a really bizarre experience just how fast this year has flown by. I remember actually where I was when we got the notification, and I remember hearing your school was going online, and then I sent you a text about it, and then minutes later mine went online. So now we've just kind of been in online school for a bit of time.
Yeah, it all happened so fast. I have no idea how you found out about my school so quickly because I remember I had on my phone, I was reading through the email from our school when you sent me the text. Like you knew my school was going online before I did.
Yes. Well, okay. It was so shocking to hear that yours was going online because people were waiting to hear your school's decision. So it was a huge investment from our school to hear about your school's plans because a lot of people were like, if that school goes online, then everyone's going online. So it was big news that everyone was kind of expecting to hear.
Yeah, no, it was definitely big news. Like this week last year is basically when the entire country just began to shut down. And it all happened, like I said, it all happened so fast too.
Yes. Yes. In the beginning, though, I was really happy for online school. And actually, in one of my classes, when we had all gotten the news, we were obviously still all at school, and some kids just left during the day. They were just like, I'm done. But me being me, I was like, I'm still going to go to class because
Right.
I didn't know the protocol.
Yeah.
Um,
Me, the immunocompromised one, I'm still gonna go to class during
right. Well,
this.
because well, we didn't even know how severe it was at that point.
That's true,
Um,
yeah.
so I was just like, oh, I don't know, do we go? Maybe there's information I'm gonna need. No, it just click your Zoom link and you'll be good.
Yeah.
But in one of my classes, the teacher had gone around the room and asked how students were taking it, which amazing teaching, by the way. Thank you for caring about us. And I was the only kid in the room that was like, I'm great. I'm really excited for this. And everyone else was like, "Oh," I'm so sad. I don't want this." And then after that teacher had sent me an email thanking me for keeping a good and positive attitude.
Oh, so
It
nice.
was really nice. And I was like, I'm just trying to make the best of everything.
Yeah.
But after a while, online classes became a little unengaging. So I would just paint or do some other activities during class.
Yeah, no, I honestly can't tell if I've become better or worse at multitasking because of this. Because the exact same thing during class, I would actually, I've recently found my old Nintendo DS. Um, and I've started playing Pokemon during a few of my classes, like during the lectures. It's been not the best for studying, but definitely fun at least.
Yeah. I mean, I do have to say I have my old DS too, and I would play Donkey Kong Racing. I know you probably don't play that, but that's my one game. But I totally agree with you that maybe it's not the best, academically wise and for retention, but it's just fun. And it's
hmm
okay, whatever. Now, actually, instead of video gaming or playing games, I crochet, making sweaters.
Wow,
Yeah.
you're
It's,
so old.
thank you. Really, I'm just practicing for the next few years. um, I had actually a physics class and I would study for the exams a lot. I'd put a lot of effort in. And then I was just one day like, never mind. I have no idea what that means. And I guess I'll just not know. And someone actually made a joke that it's now inappropriate to ask one of the graphs are for force, like drawing a force diagram. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure we learned that the first week. But I still got an A in the class, and I feel like
Wow.
what I retained is very minimal to what was taught, but yeah,
Yeah, I
I was
mean,
there.
you
I
got
was
through it.
accounted for.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I remember a few weeks ago, I was talking about my biology class and how I had sorta been able to retain some stuff. But then you put me on the spot and asked me asked me what I could remember, and all I could think of was that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So it's like maybe retention hasn't been the best in this online format. Um, Luckily, I've been lucky though to have some pretty interesting and engaging classes. Not the Pokemon class, obviously, but like a few of my other classes I've actually really enjoyed attending and learning. And actually paid some pretty solid attention during them, I think.
That is really good, especially that some of your classes have been interactive and interesting enough for you to pay attention and not just constantly play Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm really happy that a lot of my classes have turned into asynchronous and more self-paced because I think that helps me learn because breakout rooms are not doing it. They really don't add anything to my educational experience. And in fact, okay, little mini rant here. They were awkward. And like now there's kind of that universal code between the students of just silence. And I'm really happy a lot have agreed to it because it's not fun. I do kind of feel bad though when there are like those certain people talking
Mm.
and nobody answers them. So I'll just type in the chat. I won't like unmute or anything. I'll just type in the chat. And then there are some kids that turn their camera on during class and I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that too," because I just don't want the professor or, like, the teacher to feel alone.
Yeah. So when you say some kids, you're talking about you. You're the kid that turns on their camera.
Okay, yes. I sometimes start it because I just feel bad.
I've had that same feeling where I've been with a teacher and like no one's had their camera on, and I feel bad. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should just turn on my camera. But then they'll like look at you and ask you all the questions. So like, oh, maybe I won't. Um,
Yeah, there's actually one class that if you have your camera on and there's usually, like, 8 students and, like, our teacher only calls on those 8, and I'm just like, alright, camera off for the rest."
yeah, I've been on the other side of it too, though, where like in a breakout room, like you said, like no one's talking or no one responds. I'll be the one that asks the question. I'll be like, so what do you guys think for like number two? And then no one responds. Like, and I'll just like accept it. I'll be like, all right, cool, cool, good teamwork, guys.
Why do you wanna make it awkward?
I think it's funny. When they first started, when the breakout rooms first started, like I would just I would really try hard. Like I would have my mic and camera on, and like no,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
because I was like, this is the new norm, so like everyone's gonna do it, right? And so I would try to talk to people to the group, and yeah, lately
Mm-mm.
though, it's just
No.
like the silence is gonna be there. It's gonna be awkward. It's not awkward unless you really acknowledge it, or like
Or
think it's
you make
awkward.
it awkward by
Yeah.
actually doing the work.
See, that's
There's
different though, because I think it's funny when I'm like I'm like, "Nice work, guys. Good job, everyone." And like I'll like make it like I think it's funny. It might be awkward for them, but in my mind it's funny. So I'm fine not feeling the awkward pressure on myself as long as it's on someone else.
I mean, okay, I'll agree that if someone was doing that in my breakout room, I'd probably be laughing like, "Oh, poor guy wants everyone to be engaged and we're all silent, cameras off, like just
Mhm.
typing in chat. Thanks."
Yeah.
I'm glad though that like sometimes it's for some people and some students, it's an understood silence. Um, I think that's like kind of why asynchronous classes are more fun is because you get to decide like when to do the work. And I do try now to get most of my work done, like the asynchronous work on Monday, just out of the way so then I can have a few extra days in the week to do things that are more enriching to my life and my mental health, of course.
Yeah, that sounds so nice. Like that's so smart. I've always wanted and like have I've dreamed of being that type of student who just has like no responsibilities or assignments on Fridays or on the weekends.
It's the best
Um
feeling. Highly recommend.
yeah, no, it seems like it's great. Unfortunately, I'm the exact opposite. Since like especially since like the start of this year, since 2021, like I pretty much exclusively do my homework and work from Thursday to Sunday. Um
Whoa.
yeah, and but then like Monday and Tuesday I do like almost nothing academic wise. So that's kind of like my weekend. It's just like
Yeah.
shifted.
Yeah. It's just over a few days.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I get to do my hobby stuff on like Monday and Tuesday. Like I've started rollerblading quite a bit actually. I know that's been a really popular thing for a ton of people during quarantine, which I didn't even realize for a while.
Mhm. You're so right. I actually have, like, my old rollerblades that I pulled out, and I haven't used them for a while because I had gotten them, like, before they were trendy and cool and whatever, and I had gotten them when I was really younger because I saw someone doing it, and I was like, "I wanna do that," and then my dad
Mhm.
got them for my birthday, and think I was, like, 8 or something, and obviously I haven't grown, so
Oh.
and, the kid ones have, like, adjustable, like, bottom feet things, so they still
Uh-huh.
fit because I just adjusted them, and I have to agree, I think it's a great hobby, so
Oh my
go you for
gosh.
doing that.
Wow. Yeah, I had to buy mine at the start of quarantine. I don't have ones from when I was 8 anymore, unfortunately.
Bummer.
It's a bummer, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a bummer. Yeah, that's but no, I bought some, so I wanted to practice my skating for hockey. I'm wearing a hockey jersey for people listening, not watching. Um, Believe it or not, actually, I've never played hockey on real ice. Um,
Really? Have you been ice skating? Sorry,
I've been
I'm
ice
getting off topic,
skating
but
twice, 3 times.
yeah.
The last time was probably like 8 years ago. It's been a while. Yeah.
Whoa, yes.
So I figured I'd get like a good first step would be like skate on asphalt, like so I
Yeah.
got the rollerblades. And apparently my dad used to have some, but he got rid of them, but he still has all the pads. And safety first. So every
Mhm.
time I go on the streets, I'm like completely padded up. I have elbow pads, knee pads, wrist guards, I have my mask on, I have a helmet on. I just look like a total dweeb. But I think it's super funny. Like I'll take Snapchats of myself. I'll be like, yep, like this is me, all padded up, ready to go. I just embrace it. I think it's funny. It's
That's good. Better safe than sorry, and
mhm,
on here, we always endorse safety, just
always.
clarifying.
Yep.
I actually do prefer being padded up, especially because I'm someone who bruises way too easily. Like one time one of my friends, we were joking around, they flicked me and I had like a bruise like down my wrist. It was crazy. So I wear
Wow.
an excessive amount of pads too.
Yeah.
I am too scared. Um I also low key started skateboarding. So
Ooh.
also when I do that, I wear an excessive amount of pads. May I share a very side tangent little story?
No, yes,
I
please.
I went skateboarding and it was like okay, I wasn't act I didn't even have the board. I went with my friends before COVID. This is like pre-COVID.
Uh,
It was probably like a year and a half ago and it was over Christmas break, and they were, like, getting the pool thing. I don't know what it's called, the dip of, like, the skate park where
oh,
yeah,
like like you went to an actual skate park, like actual skateboarding.
yeah, and they were like, "Get in the thing, and we'll, like, do it on the bottom," and I was like, "Okay, how do I get in?" They were like, "Oh, just lay back and slide." So I was like, "Oh, that sounds easy enough." I'm standing. They sat down and did it, but I was, like, standing, and I was like, "Oh, lay back? Okay." I looked like a cartoon with, like, the banana peel, like, someone's under you, and you just fall back. Oh my gosh, I bruised my tailbone, and I'm pretty sure, like, I had a black and purple bruise, like, all over my back because I just, like, fell down. I had to lay on the skate park floor for, like, 5 minutes before I could move. I was
Oh
like,
my
"I'm never doing
gosh.
this again."
Oh my
So
gosh.
me skateboarding now is like a miracle because now I just, like, kinda do the thing where you, like, put one foot on the ground, you have one on the board, and you, like, pedal.
Yeah, pushing? You like the
Yes.
like normal skateboarding?
Yes, but that's it. Mhm.
Wow. That's I just imagine, like, in the, like, cartoons, like, Wile E. Coyote when he, like, steps off the ledge, and he, like, looks down and then realizes no floor, then he, like, falls.
Yes, that was me. I was in the air, and I was like, I, like, thought I lost my like, I was done.
Yeah. like right before like one of the big drops on a roller coaster, just like you realize what's gonna happen.
You're like, yes. Yeah.
I'm glad you're trying different wheels though too, because like I've been longboarding so much, which I think you would probably enjoy more. Actually, I'd highly suggest it for anyone who wants to get into skateboarding, but um isn't ready for like doing tricks and stuff. They just want to like
Mhm.
cruise, because like that's what longboarding is. It's just like the more mellow version. You just coast down a street, or like a nice like shallow hill. Not shallow. What's the opposite of steep? A not steep hill. Just like
Yeah.
a
Dull.
yeah, a nice dull gradient hill. You just
Mhm.
chill out on the board, cruise, take some nice wide turns. It's so much fun, especially when you have a good board.
Yes, that was
It's really fun.
really important, having a good board, because I had done a lot of research because I didn't know, like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Because the only skateboarding I remember was like my neighbor down the street who had one of the twisty boards too.
Oh, the
Think
ripstick.
yes, the ripsticks.
Those have
And
always seemed so scary. I've never tried one of those.
right, they would do it so like fast. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's beyond me. But I do think it's fun and it really enhances your balance. So
Mhm.
that is good.
It does. I
And
wanna add, we said good board. Good does not mean expensive.
yes, exactly.
Don't go out spending $200 just to start
No.
onboarding. Like, you can get a board for, like, 40 or $50. That's perfectly
Mhm.
fine. As long
Yeah,
as it feels good and has some
it's
nice wiggle
safe.
and can turn,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Some like there are a lot of affordable options that are good and of quality too. Like you're just to start, try it out, see if you like it, and
Yeah.
then if it ends up sticking, you can invest in something better later. And I think that's like good for just overall all hobbies.
Mhm.
Like, I actually have this conversation a lot with my mom. That you know, to be an artist, you don't need the best supplies. You just need to actually start and do it, and you can get the better supplies later.
You
That's
you
I feel
told
like
me
we've had.
that you told me that when I bought my camera. You were like
I did,
you
yes.
told me that exact thing. Um,
Because it's true, because I actually have to tell my brother that too sometimes. I'm like, "You know, you don't need all the best equipment to do something well, like, your work ethic will speak for you too."
mhm. Well,
Yeah.
I my rollerblades, sorry to go back on this, but
Mhm,
my rollerblades, I got them used on Sideline Swap, I think, which is it's like it's kinda like eBay or
mhm.
OfferUp, but just for sports stuff. I got them for like $30, like, which is a really
Yeah,
good deal actually. Like,
exactly, like, look around for used options or something, like, there's
mhm,
really, like, a lot of different ways, and I think just, what we're talking about, like, skateboarding, longboard, anything with wheels, that, you know, it's more of a mellow, chill activity that you don't really need to worry too much about and just kinda, like, relax and enjoy it. And actually, since you mentioned earlier being, like, more mellow, um, another mellow activity that I kinda started, was puzzles. And now you're gonna make an old person joke because I just mentioned crochet.
yeah. Well, I already made the old person joke. I'll just yeah, it carries over. I feel like it's
I actually had a little crisis with my puzzle. I had spent months, and I mean, like, I had started it, and then I got so frustrated because it was, like, all the same color on this, like, certain area
this
that
puzzle was?
yes, my puzzle, it was all the
Uh-huh.
same, like, shade of, like, this cream egg white color, and you had to it was a lot, and I had put so much effort into it. Then I was down to, like, my 5 pieces, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna be done today." Putting them in, and then I'm missing 2 pieces. My month-long puzzle experience was ruined by my 2 missing pieces, and I guess after that, my puzzle phased out. Like, I did a puzzle, like, every week, and then I was like, I can't think about puzzles after that."
Oh my gosh, that must have been awful. Like, you're so close.
Yes.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I've never been a puzzle guy. I definitely feel bad for you though. Like
Thank you.
all that hard work just to be 2 pieces short. That's ouch.
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer. I was so into puzzles. I actually used to do them backwards where there's no like, you flip it over and there's no
Yeah,
image.
like upside down?
Yeah. So it's just the cardboard backing and there's no
Why?
picture?
There's what? There's like that's not fun. The whole point of the puzzle is like the picture it makes.
Yeah, but you just flip it over and then you get the surprise of the image.
But it's like how do you flip it without breaking? It's just all like pieces. Like, it's just like
So you do it on a piece of cardboard, and then like when you finish, you put another piece of cardboard on top of it, and then you flip it. Or you can glue it together. Both are effective.
why
Like put
that
it together and then
why?
turn it over.
But that's just so just do it normal ways. That's so much work. That is
Yeah, but like okay, now I'm just mentioning that used to be me, and now my puzzle phase has died because of the disappointment. It broke my spirit a little bit. So I had to literally fill my time with something else because I had like been really stressed out. We even emailed like all 50 of the customer support from all the different countries too. And only one person got back to me and then they were like, "We can't. Like we don't really know what you're talking about."
about the
And I
missing
was like,
pieces.
"Yes.
Oh my
Okay."
gosh.
I was committed.
Yeah,
So,
you were. Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Anyway, so I had to find something to fill my time, so I kind of turned to cooking and um also just because at the time going out for food was just really daunting of
Mhm.
like COVID and I just wanted to be really safe. And growing up, I was a really picky eater, so making my food has kind of actually forced me to branch out more because I'm really interested in a recipe and it calls for something that I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. And then I try it and I'm like, that's great. Especially because sorry, I know I'm like feel like I'm rambling, but I'm more plant-based at this point in my life. So it's just been really fun looking up like plant-based recipes and trying all of the different like variety of options they have.
Yeah, no, that's really cool you took up cooking because, like, I mean, you self-identify as a picky eater, um, and but like you said, it makes choosing your meals and what you eat a lot easier. Like, there's less stress to like find something like you'll like on a menu or like find a restaurant that has something you'll know you'll like.
Mm,
And I've heard like cooking too, like you just said, like it makes branching out easier because you're cooking your own food and you're
mhm.
like seeing the ingredients in your hand, you're handling them yourself. So it just makes like trying different foods a lot easier or like more
Enjoyable.
accessible and like easy to
Mhm.
flow into, it seems.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. There are actually so many recipes to try and they're just really exciting and finding them online or Pinterest. It's like a little challenge to almost get as many as possible and try to branch out because actually I have made so many dishes that I probably would never have thought of trying until I found a recipe.
Yeah, no, it's cooking is a lot of fun. I've been cooking an insane amount too during quarantine. It's so much fun. I love trying like you said, I love trying new recipes or just experimenting with whatever ingredients that I have in the house to see what I can get. Like I started making this yeah, I'm gonna go on a tangent here. Here we go. Story time. I started making this sweet potato hash over quarantine, with shallots and sweet potato and mushrooms, and then a poached egg. And it's like it's one of the best dishes I think I've ever made. And it was all from scratch too, just like off the cuff, no recipe whatsoever, and just me
Ooh.
and the kitchen and like the ingredients I found. Um, Plus, I don't know if you heard me say, but I poached an egg like what? Like poaching an egg is wild, and I did it, and I did it well. Like not to toot my own horn too much, but I'm very proud of my egg poaching abilities. Not my poaching abilities, because that'd be bad. But my
Um,
egg poaching abilities, I'm very proud of.
May I ask what a poached egg is? Like, I'm not an egg connoisseur, so I don't really know the terms, but
Yeah, no, sorry. A poached egg, it's that one type of egg you see at brunch a lot, or like on top of avocado toasts. It's like white and kind of lumpy on the outside, and then when you cut into it, it's like super yolky and runny in the middle. And you have to make it. You make one by like having a pot of boiling water, and then you stir it into like a whirlpool, kind of, and then you crack an egg into it, so the egg like spirals, and then it's just like all about timing, which is like the really tricky part because if it goes too long, it won't be runny in the middle; it'll just be hard. But
interesting.
if it doesn't go long enough, it'll just be a raw egg, which like no one likes. So like it's very tricky and like to get that timing down. Plus, boiling water is kind of scary.
Yes. Whoa, okay. That does seem like it takes a lot of practice to get that right. So yes, let's toot Matthew's horn.
Toot, yeah. It's but yeah, no, I've got that recipe down. I'm very proud of that. I've also started making some like nasty good smash burgers. Like those are the burgers that you like press down super duper thin while they're on the flat top or in a pan. So the edges get all nice and crispy, but stays juicy inside because of all like the juices are just like compressed and smashed down. Like the name says, it's a smash. It's just like a super thin, like perfect little patty. And just like also trick for chefs at home, if you make smash burgers and you use cheese. So you smash the first side down. When you flip it, put a piece of cheese on top. You'll know the burger's done cooking when the cheese melts. So that's a little pro tip for you. Plus just like
Interesting.
delicious burgers, like the best, one of the best burgers I ever had was one I made, which I'm very proud of.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining what a smash burger was because like I don't eat meat or burgers, so like I would have been lost on that one too. So thank you for
Yeah, no, of
explaining
course.
it.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe we should start a Chef Matthew segment where I just talk about food and explain dishes. Just like I'd be totally up for that.
We could definitely discuss that as a possibility.
I made this one like very extravagant and foreign dish too. It's called a pizza. It's like an Italian, like open faced grilled cheese. This-
Oh my goodness. That's funny the way you just described that. But actually, this reminded me of something. Speaking of pizza, I found this really good vegan pizza at Whole Foods, and I was surprised because sometimes vegan cheese is a hit or miss.
yeah, no, I had a vegan cheese once. I'm pretty sure just tofu. I don't think it was actually like at all like trying to be cheese.
They have come a long way because I used to not enjoy it. Like I would try to like avoid cheese at that point, like or vegan like substitute cheeses, and I would just like, okay, I'll make my recipes without that. But now I have a few different brands that I don't really mind.
That's good. You found some. Well, I don't know if you like them, but you don't mind them. So
I
that's
do like them.
okay. That's good. That's
Yes.
the first step towards liking something is not minding it. So that's
It's a progression.
yeah, but no, cheese is like I feel like it's like a must have for like a lot of dishes and like I mean obviously there's people lactose intolerant. A lot of people seem to be lactose intolerant.
Mhm, mhm, but they
Um
don't eat like that.
yeah, no, yeah, that's I've seen so many jokes about like lactose intolerance is like the fakest of diseases or like cuz like no one follows it. Like, "Oh, I'm just having a little bit of ice cream. It's okay."
Just a tad.
Yeah, and like same with cheese, but like I feel like cheese just goes well with so many things. One thing it doesn't go well with, but that I absolutely love, is kimchi. Also, actually, I take that back. It goes really well with kimchi. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. I've I've started eating like a ton of kimchi over quarantine. I absolutely love it. It's a Korean fermented cabbage. So it's kind of spicy and tangy. Definitely not for everyone. I know my parents just like despise it.
They see you cooking it and they're like, "Oh, we gotta
Yeah.
leave."
No, they see me open the jar of it and they didn't smell it from across the house. It's like
That's
it's
funny.
strong. But yeah, I really really enjoy the taste of it. I found some really good things. Like I said, like with cheese, very surprising to me, but kimchi quesadillas and kimchi grilled cheeses are absolutely delicious. Like they go so well together. I did not expect it whatsoever. Also just kimchi fried rice is super super good and super quick to make. And because it's fermented, kimchi is like super good for your gut health too. Kind of like kombucha. I love the booch. So
I think I've had kombucha once. Um, and that's about all I can speak on it. But I do like that you brought up that like there are nutritional benefits to certain foods. Well, like all food. And I just think having good, nutritious food and well-balanced meals is great. And I think we even kind of touched on that or mentioned it in our Why is Eating Food So Hard podcast episode. But just to like really drive that point home. Yes.
mhm,
Especially if you're exercising,
yeah.
like, rollerblading, hockey, whatever you name it. Exercising just obviously takes up a lot of energy. So replacing that with food and making sure You're eating well. It's very vital to the process.
That's a really good point to bring up. Yeah, fun little story about that actually is I tried working out a few weeks ago. Yeah, I tried. Um,
I
but
wasn't gonna say anything, but you did, so thank you.
but yeah, I tried working out without eating beforehand. And I like nearly passed out. Like I ended up just lying on the ground for about 30 minutes because I was so lightheaded. From just having no like energy, I guess, from food. So yeah, eating beforehand and eating well is definitely very important for working out.
Yeah, that is no fun. I'm glad you're okay now and that like nothing serious happened. But yes, I do think planning your like meals around that, like when you're planning on doing big activities or working out, is very important.
Yeah, no, I definitely learned my lesson. Like I'm on a strict pre-workout diet now of kimchi and smash burgers. It's no, I'm just kidding. That would all come straight out of me if I tried to work out after eating that. Um, but yeah, no, definitely food before working out is good to eat. Like good substantial food before you work out is very important.
Yes. Like I kind of started yoga and running. So I guess you could say I'm officially a runner now.
Wow, well done. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Congrats.
I try to plan my meals around those activities so I'm all filled up and just eating like right. And I think there's a lot of like you can do a simple Google search of just like, hey, what's a vegetarian running meal or what's a vegan running meal or whatever. Um,
There's like a million
yeah,
responses for that, I'm sure.
exactly. So there's a bunch of resources out there. And like I don't want to pass out like you almost did. Like that's actually
Yeah.
something I am very like mindful of because there was a time where like I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna do the workout and I'll eat after the workout so I don't get a cramp. And then I remember just same thing you did, just laid on the floor for a minute and just felt very like washed out.
Just a quick power nap after the workout.
Yeah,
Just
so I try to like because right now I run with my brother in the morning, so I try to eat a little something like not like a full like 5-course meal or anything, but just
mhm.
something that will hold me over and then after I'll have like an actual like breakfast. Because there was a time we did like sprints and I haven't sprinted in a long time. And I was like, well, I could really feel that on my thighs. So just gotta fuel up now. That's where I'm at. But actually that just reminded me of something kind of a little bit off the food topic. But when I was really sick or when I was like first diagnosed, I went from being a competitive gymnast playing basketball and being really active to then not even being able to enjoy those things. So me running now is like such a freeing experience after not being able to for quite a bit of time.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's like it's like you're like I'm back. Like
Yes, I am coming back stronger.
uh-huh. No, that's a great feeling like being able I remember yeah, this is more on the hospital theme now, I guess, but like I remember when I first left the hospital and actually started doing like quote unquote everyday activities again
Mhm,
like that. It's like it's a great feeling being like there's some sense there's a tiny hint of sense of normalcy coming
mhm.
back. Like I'm able to do these things I haven't done for so long. Like I'm able to like walk down like make it down to the end of the block and back without running out of breath, or like I'm able to go for a jog, or I'm
Right.
able to play basketball. It's like wow, like that's so cool. I'm like back to doing these things I was doing
Yeah.
before.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah, running. I will say running's not my thing. I've never really enjoyed running. I'm happy for you though. That makes you feel so free and gives you that workout boost you crave. Personally, I'd much rather walk. I really like just looking around at like clouds and trees and flowers and stuff.
Yeah,
That's just
I
me.
do have to agree. Walking is a really like great experience, especially near sunset, just to enjoy that change in color. But I do have, yeah, running does give me that like extra bounce or just a little bit more spice to my walks.
Yeah, it's a spicy walk.
Yeah.
That's what running is.
I actually also did a 30-day yoga challenge during quarantine, which was really something new for me because before the pandemic, I'd only like done yoga every few days, like just whenever I could fit it in. But for
Mhm.
doing it 30 days consecutively, it was just life-changing, especially because there were a few times where I was really against the idea of yoga because when a lot of the parents in my, like, class found out that I was sick, and maybe you've experienced this, but I definitely have, they would be like, "Oh, have you tried yoga?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm in so much pain that, like, it's hard to get out of bed. I'm not about to go do downward dog for an hour
Mhm.
right now." But I do have to say that ever since I did start, it does make me feel a lot better, and I do think there are a lot of benefits to yoga. So they did have a point, but at at that time when I was younger, I was really like, "All right, I'm good."
Yeah. Not the right moment. Eventually, you
Yes.
yeah. You're
Yeah.
like, "I'll save that for later. Thank you for the
That's on my
suggestion."
to-do list for
Yeah.
when I'm moving.
Uh, No, yoga is actually, like it's really fun, even if you don't really know what you're doing,
It
like
is. It's
me.
for everyone.
Yeah. Like, my version of yoga is just stretching pretty much, but I really enjoy it. I just do it sometimes, like, late at night, and I'll, like, have a TV show or, like, a movie on in the background that I can just, like, look up at every once in a while, like, when I'm in, like, doing different pose. Like, when you're, like, bending down to touch your toes, you can't really look up, but, like,
Mhm.
if you're, like I don't know, like, there's the tree pose, I know that one, where you do like that. Yeah, yeah. So when you do that, like, you just, like, look at TV and watch, like, TV or something, it's, like,
Mhm.
it's really fun and relaxing, it's nice.
Yeah. That's actually, like, really great that you do your own version of yoga and kinda, like, blend it together.
Mhm.
Um, you did mention movies, and that reminded me of another quarantine hobby I have started, which is me watching tons and tons of movies and shows. And I'm gonna take the time now to just mention this, which I have mentioned before. I watch Gilmore Girls so much. And the amount of times I have watched it during this pandemic is ridiculous. Because before, after I had finished it once, I didn't really watch it again.
Uh-huh.
And
Like a
then,
normal person, like, that's how
right,
most shows are,
right.
yeah.
Mhm. Then one day I was like, nothing is on. Like, so a year after I had like watched it, I was like, I'm just gonna click on the first episode and see how it is.
Mhm.
And now I just watch it so much, too much. I remember like getting the call that or the email, whatever, the little notification that we're going online. I went home and I like laid in my bed and I was like, I'm watching Gilmore Girls. And then I have just continued that entire cycle. So
Can you estimate how many times you've watched it, like, the entire series? Okay,
over the
let's do
duration of all of the time I have known about Gilmore Girls or over the time of this pandemic.
over the entirety of knowing of Gilmore Girls, and then how many of those times was in pandemic?
Okay, over the entirety, I am pretty sure I have watched it like 40 times all the way through. And I'm not exaggerating because I watched it while I was sick. So that was like my go-to sick show and The
Wow.
Flash. And then during quarantine, I'm pretty sure I've watched it like once a month, like all the way through.
Oh
Like
my
it
gosh.
it is my go-to show. I watch a few other things, but that is my main go-to. It is always on. Like I'm doing something or I'm painting, it's on in the background. I love it.
Wow. Good for you. That's
Thank you.
can they should, like, give you an award or something for that. That's, like
Yes, and then they revived it in 2016. Oh my gosh, I'm still not sure how I feel about that, but, like, I did watch it, and I do kind of go back to the episodes because I'm like, I want that, like, nostalgia.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you. I mean, I I have similar shows. I definitely haven't watched them 40 times through. But, like, for me, just, like, Impractical Jokers, or The Office, those are 2 shows I always have on my TV because, like, they're pretty much always on either True TV or Comedy Central. Like, I think it's just, like, 24/7 cycle of those shows on those channels. So whenever I just want to, like, numb my mind or just have some, like, background noise, I just put either of those on. I really enjoy them.
Yeah. But, like,
Not as
well
much as Gilmore Girls, obviously, but
yeah, I know. The Office is an amazing show, and I think, like, it's really sad that it got taken off Netflix, so if you use Netflix to watch it, I'm sorry, and I feel your pain. Um, because I have my Dunder Mifflin sweatshirt too that I've actually worn like on I think in one of our podcast episodes before.
Did you really?
Yes, I
Huh.
have. It's like gray. But actually, I kind of mentioned our podcast episodes that I do think that that is something else we have both started during quarantine was this podcast, which I think has been really rewarding and exciting and something I personally look forward to each week.
Yeah, no, it's been a very, very fun experience. A ton of work, like way more work than I thought it was going to be. But it's been really nice just like hopefully spreading some good messages to people. I mean, that's our hope here is that we can share our stories with people or families who might be going through like some of the same stuff that we've been through. And I feel like we've I feel like it's been a good way to get our message across. And it's been fun.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
enjoyed it.
for sure. Like, I have to agree with you that I didn't really know what I was getting into, like, at all. I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, yeah, we can record and upload, and it'll be good." And then I was like, "Oh, wait, there's actually, like, a lot that goes in the behind the scenes." And I think it's really worth it, and it means a lot to me. I also really enjoy that this podcast gives me a chance to share the music I have found in quarantine because I have been able to explore a lot more music and really took some time to establish some bands and artists that really kind of impact my personality or my moods. And I get to recommend them on this podcast.
That's a huge plus. I love like sharing music with people. I feel like this is just a great way to share some, I mean, obviously some well-known people. Like I've recommended like some big names already, but also some like lesser known bands and especially lesser known songs that we really enjoy. Um, I feel like it's a good like I've tried to start some new shows, but like we said, like I just keep coming back to Impractical Jokers and The Office. But it's like music is something. Actually, no. Same with music because I my quarantine music has been like either the same 20 songs that are my most played songs, or it's like completely brand new artists and bands I had never heard of before quarantine. So it's like I like being able to find new things, but I know I've listened to a ton of like the same old stuff. Like
Mhm. So it's kind of balanced.
yeah, you could
Yeah.
say yeah.
Okay. Well, I actually think that this is going to be a perfect time to bring up our music recommendations for this week. And I guess I'll start because I'm talking right now. Um, I am going to go with Better by the Vamps. There are some good lyrics in here, and I really like the album art. It's super unique, super pretty. I like the pink tones they have going on there.
I was gonna comment on the album art too. Actually, I really liked it. It was really really pretty.
It is. It's just a great song. Actually, the entire like all of their songs, I was really surprised that they aren't talked about more. But I guess
That's what our
that
podcast is for. That's
that is
that's
what
what we
we're
do
doing
here.
now. Is talking about it.
Hmm.
And then my next song is going to be "Are You Mine" by Arctic Monkeys. This reminds me of 2013, 2014 era, but it's just a very interesting song. And he sings in what I imagine a paragraph sounding like. I don't know if
Like
that makes sense, but I don't know, he has really long sentences sometimes and some of or the singer, I don't know, like, the history of the band or the makeup of it,
like
but
his voice sounds like a paragraph.
no well, yes, I guess you could like, when you see a paragraph, and that's what I imagine it sounding like.
Okay, sure. Arctic Monkeys is a really good band. I really like. I'll probably recommend one of their songs later on.
You're
I
gonna save
actually,
that.
huh?
You're gonna save that for another podcast
Yeah,
episode.
another podcast.
Okay.
But fun fact, I learned. Actually, I'll say that for another podcast too. It has to do with that guitar right there, behind me. But I'll save that for
Mm.
next time or another podcast also.
Tune in, just keep
Yeah,
listening, please.
it's a teaser. You gotta come back for it.
My last one, my last but not least, which is probably actually I think one of my favorite recommendations on this one is Dancing on Quicksand by Bad Sons. I have enjoyed this band for about 3 years now, and their songs overall have really great melodies and just different layers to it. And this song has really good length to it. Like I feel like it doesn't end when you can kind of like start to perceive time in terms of music. You're like, "Oh, 2 more songs and then I'll finally do that assignment." That this song, you never get that feeling like, "Oh, it's gonna end soon and now I'm gonna have to do something." Like it just oh, it's so good.
That's a good feeling. Like, and also like just not wanting it to end.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can tell you really like the song too because I started playing it like I listened to it last night, but I played it again before the podcast today, and like you started singing along immediately, even though just playing
Mhm.
through the microphone. Like
It's so great. It's so good.
it's a
So,
nice song. Yeah.
yes.
Um, I like those. Those are good picks.
Thank you.
My songs this week. The first one is "Stay" by Riz La Vie, I believe. RIZ space LA space VIE. I really like the song. It's like it has a really nice funky groove to it, but he has like a nice like raspy like yeah, just raspy voice, which I really like. I know it can be a little polarizing. Some people don't like that style of voice and singing, but I really like it. It has like a little bit of like grunge, but it's mostly like pop and like funk, and I think it's a really cool sound.
Yeah, it's a really interesting song.
Thanks. It is a very interesting song. I really like it. My second song this week is POV by Ariana Grande. This is from her newest album that came out in October, so like right in the middle of quarantine. I don't know. It was an okay album, honestly. Not as good as her last few. But POV was like my favorite by far. I think it's a really pretty song. Like it's very slow and melodic and smooth, and I just think it's really pretty. I really enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. Ariana is a really incredible artist, so like you really can't go wrong with her.
Can't go wrong. I've said it before. I'll say it again. She's my favorite artist. Like she's my last song. This one I love also. So much, just like you loved your third one. I love this one. It's called "Tighten Up" by the Black Keys. I've listened to so much of the Black Keys over quarantine, and I had heard a ton of their songs before, without knowing it actually, because like several of their most popular songs are played at hockey games, like as pump up music or like when a goal is scored, which is super cool. But I never realized it was them. Like I have them on my phone here. Lonely Boy and Howling for You are two of their most popular songs, and like you might not recognize the names, but if you played them, I feel like most people have been to like a sporting event or just like I don't know. I play them. Like, oh my gosh, that's this song. Like I had no idea. But I heard Tighten Up during quarantine just randomly. I don't remember where. I think it was like an Instagram post or something. I just loved it. I played it over and over. And I was like, I should listen to the album. And so I've listened to like three of their albums now. Just like I just listen to them like back to back to back. And they're all great. And I'll probably recommend more from them because they're really fun band. But this is my first song of theirs I actually fell in love with. It's just like absolutely phenomenal guitar and drums in all of their songs. And they're so fun to listen to.
It is an amazing like band. My brother plays some of their music in the car too. And actually, you mentioned something of like just unique ways of finding songs that sometimes like songs are so played, but you never know who's actually singing it. And then you
Mm-hmm.
find the artist in a totally different way and you play their songs and you're like, oh my gosh. It's
That's you. That's yeah.
like, whoa, I totally know this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I think we had really good song recommendations, and obviously we both liked our third ones. And it was a big part. I think music was a big part of our quarantine experience, but all good things do come to an end, like our podcast. So thanks for tuning in for our 1 year discussion on our quarantine hobbies. And as always, the Wish Kids wish you well.
Thank you to our moms for moderating and our dads for proving nods and occasional thumbs up.
We would also like to thank all of our wonderful nurses and doctors that we've had along the way and remind you that they are healthcare professionals, not us.
Please keep in mind, any medical information or stories shared and discussed in this podcast are based on personal experiences and are not meant to serve as medical advice. Please talk with your doctor about any medical concerns, questions, and guidance as they are trained medical professionals.
Any brands, corporations, trademarks, or characters in the show, even those based on real people, are purely fictional.
The Wish Kids wish you well.